Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Jez7780 with another What Grinds My Gears, episode 24, The Scarlet Cloud. I wasn't going to do a video probably for like a week or whatever like that. Like, I was just going to see how it goes. But, with this recent news that came out from Paul Thurrott's website, thurrott.com, about the next generation Xboxes, how it might be two consoles, one being a traditional Xbox hardware that we expect, and the other one being a cloud-based, basically a streaming box, sort of like a Fire Stick or something along those lines that would stream the games to it. Well, I had to come in with my reaction because I tweeted something earlier today, and let me open up so some guys come in. What's up, everybody? How you doing? Damn, what the hell? I dropped this thing over here. So, my opinion on this whole thing. So I was reading the Thurrott article about it. They did add a couple more things of information about it. What's up, Callie? Hey, Elish. Hey, Karazin. How you guys doing? Yeah, pretty much, man. Like, so I was looking at the article because I wanted to get an idea of what that is. And, I'm going to just do a quick, before we start going in depth and grinding our gears about this stuff, and then getting my opinion on it. We're gonna do I'm gonna do a quick basically do a screen share just so we could go just through the information that was presented in Thurrott's article today. And the thing is that here we go. So this was the more details on Thurrott. Now these guys, Brad Sims and these guys, these are the people I listen to a lot, like Thurrott, Mary Jo Foley, because they really focus in a lot on the business aspect of Microsoft, like kind of where, and you could get some insight as to where Microsoft might be going with this stuff. And basically they provide a very in-depth analysis and, kind of predictions, and they get invited to certain things, certain events, and they really look into how Microsoft is definitely involving their business and how they're evolving. So this is definitely something, unless they scrap it, sort of like the Surface, the tablet and stuff like that, the little Surface phone or something along those lines, unless they scrap this. But basically, Phil came out on stage and said this. And in the beginning of Rand's video and at the end of E3, Phil was like, we're working on a streaming service, and also our hardware team is working on the next Xbox. So just to go into this, as we know, the rumors are Project Scarlet is the next generation Xbox. And the thing that a lot of people were kind of speculating, and the thing that came out today was the Scarlet Cloud, which, as it says here, it says that it's a gaming streaming service that they have been envisioning ever since Microsoft showed up the demo of the game streaming. And also, too, Microsoft has been doing this kind of game streaming even when the Xbox One launched. Like, you could still do this. When they launched that Xbox app, you could stream your Xbox games to your PC through the Xbox app. So they have been practicing around with this streaming stuff and streaming at that. But I do have to say it was not that great. Like, it was okay, but it wasn't. It's streaming, and that's what I'm gonna get into. I'm not gonna get into it right now. So the second console that the company is working on is a lower powered device that is currently planned to ship with the next generation devices and is designed for game streaming. But the catch here is that Microsoft thinks it has figured out how to handle the latency sensitive aspects of gaming. The cloud console will have a limited amount of compute locally for specific tasks like controller input, image processing, and importantly, collision detection. The downside of this is that since the hardware is needed locally, it will raise the price of the streaming box, but it will cost significantly less from what we're accustomed to paying for a new generation console. So the hardware is needed locally, so kind of like a subsidized model that they're going to work with the streaming box and with the streaming service. So it says it's very important. Microsoft doesn't make much money on hardware sales, but they do things like Xbox Live, Game Pass, and game sales. If Microsoft can create a next-gen console that requires lower upfront payment and longer subscription payments, remember all the games will, and this little statement here I think is a little kind of fanboy. Like, remember all the games will run in the cloud, so you'll need to pay something to access them. So I guess they're saying that the games are going to be running on remote Xboxes, similar to PlayStation Now, but in the cloud, quote unquote, and be streamed to your box. And it says one person familiar with Microsoft's plans said that this may reduce latency. Oh, well, here, what I'm saying. One of the benefits that Microsoft Cloud platform reaches around the globe with data centers in every market. This makes streaming the games more available globally, as this means that it can run on any type of device. Of course, Microsoft will love you to buy their hardware, but the company's end goal is so that you can access Xbox from any device, anywhere. Scholar Cloud is looking to deliver on this idea, sort of like a subsidized phone, like a cheaper model phone. Like, here's my flagship phone, and I'm going to giving you the Galaxy E or whatever like that. That's going to be kind of the budget one that's going out globally for lower income markets. That's kind of like what this sounds like too. It says the cloud version, and then this is the biggest thing. The cloud version of Scarlet is further along in development than the traditional console that will be released in 2020, which that's what they're speculating. This device does make me wonder if it has any relationship to the Xbox Hobart streaming device that was newly released 2 years ago, but was canceled late in the development cycle. Recycled stuff, right? Let's go to the recycle things. But anyway, so this is kind of what drove a lot of the conversation today on Twitter, and people acting about streaming because hold on, let me cancel stop. Let me do stop screen sharing here. I guess it's done, right? I don't know. Who knows this stupid thing? If it's done or not done. Yeah, it says I'm not streaming anymore. Okay, good. What's up, guys? I'm putting the chat up. So, yeah. So, just confirm you can't see my screen anymore, right? Okay, I don't want to have this infinity kind of thing. So I just want to make sure I'm not sharing my screen anymore so you guys don't see that craziness going on. So now that was the thing that drove the conversation. Now, if you go, and I kind of went back over the a few episodes ago, like kind of early on, I would say probably about a month or so ago, and I went over the streaming offerings, comparing Game Pass, PlayStation Now, and NVIDIA Shield, which is the GeForce Now service, which exists today. PlayStation Now exists today. Microsoft's talking about something that will exist in the future. Now, they did speak about it, but having a device just made for that. Okay. So my whole point with this whole entire thing is, again, I know, and I kind of got rubbed this way when at the end of E3, it was hardware, services, games, right? That was their kind of evolution. That's what Phil said he had to fix, right? Hardware first, they had to address the power narrative, services, and then games. And now the games discussion is sort of, we bought studios. Okay. We don't know what game, and we know Gears 5 is coming and the next Halo is coming. And Forza. That's it. That's all our game talk we talk about. Now let's go back. And now they're all talking about showing people this, leaking. It's leaking now. Our next hardware of our next generation console and services, streaming services. We are not talking about the next set of games. No additional information on Gears 5. No additional information on Halo. Anything. Those games, we got our discussion was games take time. That's what we got. It's like, shut up, everybody. Games take time. And that's where we're at right now. Games take time. All right, so shut up. Now let's talk about what we really care about and really what's ahead of schedule, our streaming service. And I've said this so many times on this show and on Planet Xbox. Content drives the services. Games is the content for a game streaming service. Games drive it. If you have content that is available everywhere else, there is no reason to subscribe to your service. Content drives services. Services do not get created without content. So Microsoft, I think, has their head so far up their ass in services and hardware, and it just seems like that's all they kind of could do. Like all that talk about the Xbox One X and the eating the chips and DirectX 12 baked on the chip, the calculations for Crackdown, all this talk about hardware, Game Pass, services. It is just everything that comes out of their mouth is hardware and services. And you see how successful they are with the hardware. They have not won an MPD. Their hardware is not flying off the shelves. And they're talking about more hardware. It's coming. More hardware. And on top of more hardware, more differentiation hardware, like a streaming box of Xbox. First off, EA is doing a streaming service, right? EA wants to do their streaming service, so they got their own pass thing. Microsoft is really not getting a lot of new games in their Game Pass service. Hell, as I said last time, they're not even successful in getting people to make games for their Play Anywhere, the third-party games. And I'm not even talking about EA and Ubisoft. I'm talking about even the other party developers, the other ones, the ones that made Shadow of War. Well, we had a Shadow of War Resident Evil. Like that is it. Capcom did not put the what was it? The Monster Hunter. That's not an Xbox Anywhere game. They put Resident Evil, but not, how many Xbox Anywhere announcements did we have at E3? Another kind of service that just fell flat on its face. I'm just sick, and this is what gives me headaches. And it's like you look and I'm looking at even friggin' Nintendo. They're releasing games for the 3DS. They're like Wario Party. They got games coming out of their studios. Wario Party's going for the 3DS. They got Smash coming in the fall, in the Christmas time. PlayStation's talking Spider-Man. And we're here talking about next-gen consoles and fucking streaming boxes. Meanwhile, the PlayStation Now service has been shitted on. Everybody shits on it because it's a streaming service. That's why Game Pass is so much better. Well, guess what? Microsoft's doing theirs. All right? And I'm going to tell you one thing. And if I had the connections and all that other stuff, I would like to go through PlayStation Now and show you the games that are in there. There are over 650 games in PlayStation Now, and there are exclusives. They have a lineup that just says exclusives, and then indie exclusives like Journey and all those other type games that were there from last generation. And then they have their own exclusives. They got Until Dawn in there. They got a list of exclusives from their system, and they're adding PS2 games to their service. I'm telling you, PlayStation Now is set and ready to be. Just has to improve they have to improve their streaming. Like if you play, I beat everyone's gone to rapture with it. I played a bunch of games on PlayStation Now. I like the service, but it does have its quirks with being streaming only. It's not something that I would want to sit down and say, I'm going to stream all these games, because it's not as consistent as a Netflix or a Hulu or similar streaming video services. The game ones, if you do, you see artifacting in dark places. You will see, your game might lag a little bit. There might be some input lag, but then it'll be good. Like it's just not consistent to say that is going to be the primary way you're going to experience gaming. Now, Microsoft says that they have that solution fixed, but the thing is that yes, they could have a premium. Yep, Resistance 3, they got Resistance 2, they got all the Uncharted, they got all the Ratchet and Clanks, they got all the Jak and Daxter, they got everything in PlayStation Now, everything that's exclusive from their last generation. Now, the PlayStation Now service is there and streaming today. You could do it today. It's there. And Sony actually tried that with a Vita. The PlayStation TV was a streaming service of PlayStation Now, and they had a problem with the memory cards again because you use those expensive memory cards. But PlayStation TV failed, and Sony had to release it in Japan for a year and then brought it over to the United States calling PlayStation TV. And it was a streaming box. It was Sony streaming box. You can even mirror your PlayStation on it. And They said, and it didn't work. And now Microsoft is going to be doing the same thing with next generation. And also, and Black Metal said, what's up, Black Metal? You know, when he said that once PlayStation Now has a download, the library that they have right now in that service trumps anything in Game Pass right now. And that is just the honest truth. There's no, you will be silly to be like those games are trash that are in that. PlayStation Now is over 650 games from 3 generations. And if they allow downloads now, I don't think they're going to allow downloads of PlayStation 3 games, but I've said it before on the other podcast. The reason what I've been seeing is they've been updating their PlayStation 3 games to PlayStation 4 games in a way to get them off of that console so that they could easily be downloaded when they turn on that Switch. And that's where I think their future is. And once they have that library that you could download natively as part of your service, and they got some of those PlayStation 3 games turned into PlayStation 4 compatibility or PlayStation 2 games, once they got some of those games that had native download, that is going to be a serious contender because the library in PlayStation Now is absolutely incredible. Like, it is crazy of just exclusive games. It's just filled with exclusives and some third-party games. Whereas the Xbox Game Pass has primarily a bunch of third-party games, and then they got a couple of their own first-party games sprinkled in there. They don't have the Forzas in there. They don't have Forza Horizon 3. They don't have they don't have Quantum Break in there. So, which is kind of strange. That's not even last generation. That is this generation. They don't have those games in Game Pass. So, and also too, I've noticed that they've been taking games out. Like, Sony has not been really taking games out. They've been upgrading games from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4, where Microsoft, I've seen, has been taking like 6 and 10 games after a month. Like, take these out, you know? So, but the big difference between the two of them is that Microsoft has games releasing day and date in Game Pass, and Sony does not, which that could be a huge driving factor if you're streaming games, that you could stream your game day and date as somebody who can buy it. But I'm going to talk about the third one, and it's not the one that many people know about, and it's the GeForce Now. With the Shield TV, which I have the NVIDIA Shield, you could stream GeForce Now, which basically is a subscription service. And when you buy the game from there, you'll get to stream the game from that service, but you also get a Steam key so you can download it natively on your computer. They also give you some games for free to try out. Like, I tried Rise of the Tomb Raider, and you could stream them at 1080p 60, and they work great, and they'll look great at first, but then you might get a hitch. Like, somebody turns on something in your house, or you get a hitch. There's a lot of dependency on your network with the streaming games, and it's very kind of what's up, Meds? How you doing? But it is kind of a little bit of confusion because, like, you know, you're playing a game and you have something where if you're shooting somebody, moving, jumping, doing a jump, and there's a little bit of lag or stutter, it matters a lot more in these games where the dependency has to be on there. You know, they could, you know, maybe they could fix that with their services, with their cloud, you know, their Azure cloud. I'm just sick of talking about cloud bullshit. Because I think that's what they want. I just think that they're forcing us to get there. And this is my whole point with this whole thing, is that they need the content first. They should be using these years now to be showing us the games and showing us the future and the next games, the gameplay of what we're going to experience. That this is the time to do this, to get you excited for how to play these games. Because who gives a shit on how to play what? How to play what? That's what I want to know. A streaming device to what? Stream what? My 360 games? Are those games going to look better? Are they going to look worse? Are you going to stream at 1080p? Like, the stream Game Pass games? Like, I don't think a little box will survive with Game Pass alone. No way. And Microsoft on that end, like I said last week, was that they are not releasing games on a consistent basis from their own exclusive games. Games exclusive to their service is not consistent enough to warrant a monthly subscription to stay subscribed to play their games. They released what? 2 games in the spring and 1 game in the fall, and with like 3 and 4 months in between. If you're going to make a service, like, think about, like, Netflix is rotating their stuff out. They got content coming. You cannot sustain a subscription if you're constantly just like putting in other people's old ass games. Other people's old ass games don't sell, and that is why I'm telling with the Nvidia Shield, the reason why it's not that popular, a lot of people use it, is because all it's doing is just streaming old ass games. Yes, it's $7.99 a month, but and now I do see that the Crew 2 is in there and stuff like that, but they don't stream new games, and that's what Microsoft, I think, has the advantage. But the thing is, they have an advantage that they do it, but the advantage is they don't have the content to sustain it. They don't have the content. It was supposed to be hardware, services, and games. Games. Wait to E3. The fucker goes on stage, says that we bought some studios. Here's a fucking Halo Master Chief helmet. Here's some Gears bullshit and Gears 5 that follows Kate, who, yeah, let's go follow Kate's story on some expansion, but we're going to call it Gears 5. I don't know what Marcus Phoenix and JD are involved in that. I have ranted about that last week. You know, that game sounds perfect. Kate's story, excellent. Gears of War 4, hashtag Kate's story. Let's go do it. But no, let's do Kate's story for Gears 5, and Marcus Phoenix and his son are having a fucking barbecue. And we're going to go follow Kate and some random dude 4. And let's go follow them, and that's Gears 5. And then we'll wait another 3 or 4 years to find out what the fuck JD and Marcus are doing. Kid, don't waste my name. Don't waste my big number sequels on side stories. We will see. But she's the main protagonist, and we will see. But they do that on that's what they do at E3. Wait to E3, right? So we got to see that. And then he comes out on stage after all that. Yeah, exactly. Karazin. That's exactly how I feel. Because if you go listen to Rod Ferguson's interview at E3, he basically says Kate is the main protagonist, and this is Kate's story. That's great. Gears 5? No, that don't sound Gears 5. That sounds Gears 4, Kate's Adventures, expansion, $40. Thank you very much. But we'll see. But you're right. It's exactly like Lost Legacy. It's going to be bigger than Lost Legacy, of course, because it's Gears 5. But, you know, the way they kind of talked about it and then talked about how they're doing a motion capture for the first time. And he said there's like 6 to 7 big scenes that use that motion capture. And we saw one of them was that was the video that they shown. That was one of them. And there's 6 to 7 of them in there. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, you know, that's great. You know, sounds like a big budget game. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess 7 of those cutscenes are good. We will see. I guess, you know. But I'm just like, oh, wow. He said there's 7 of those cutscenes that use that new technology, which I think I think that's what they did in Until Dawn. I think they did that in Until Dawn. They did that in Detroit Become Human, in Uncharted. Like, that's all Sony does is those mocap things. But I guess Gears, it's the first time ever they're doing it. And, you know, he said in that interview. So go listen to that interview. But I pulled that out of there. But that's I digress on that stuff. My point is that it's supposed to be about the games. We waited to E3 to hear about these games. All right? We waited to E3 to hear about these games. Yeah, mocap games. Exactly. That was a big deal for Gears of War. And he said 7 to 8. I could go find it. But yeah. So that's what we heard. And they bought studios. Okay. And we already ran over these studios. But they bought Playground, who's supposedly making Fable, and they make Forza. State of K2 guys, who basically, those guys made a buggy State of K2, 68, 65 on Metacritic game. They got them. Great. And then they bought the Collective, which made Happy Few, which that game was garbage in preview. And I guess they fixed it. Who the hell knows? But it releases everywhere soon. And the only studio that's really worth a damn was the Hellblade studio. And then they created one in Santa Monica. Okay. So that's our games, right? We're done. We're done with games now. Now, and this is what he said. He basically was like, okay, and now we are working on a streaming service, and we're also working on the next generation hardware. And it's like really? We can't talk about games anymore? Like, you know, we can't talk about the content But we're gonna talk about how you gonna reach people. I want to know how you gonna reach them so everybody could play the game that they could play on their PlayStation. They could play on their PC. They could play on your Xbox. But people are gonna want to play that on your streaming service. They're gonna subscribe to you for your streaming service to play it, to subscribe. But this goes to my whole via what I said last week on playing Xbox, and actually, with everybody I got, attacked by like Halo being a service game. Their future is that box. It's that little box. That's what they want. They're going to give you the big hardware, $500-$600 to buy that, right? That cloud console, the low accessible, and I'm telling you, people saying $100, get the fuck out of here. That is not going to be $100. All right. Microsoft is not pricing that streaming box at $100. The fucking S and original Xbox are not even at $100. That shit's still at $300 and is the weakest piece of shit of this generation. All right. They are not releasing a streaming box at $100. And secondly, like that, just the memory alone, if you have to store anything, what is it going to be? 8 gigabytes, 10 gigabytes, 16 gigabytes? Is it going to be expanded memory? It's not going to be no SSD in there. But you're going to be streaming all these games. You're going to be streaming all this stuff. What's up, Dix? How you doing, man? You're going to be streaming all this stuff. So really, I guess the native hardware don't matter. It just boggles my mind that we're talking about how to play, and I'm asking, what the fuck are we going to play? That's my question. And to see people just get so excited after you're trashing PlayStation Now, say fuck streaming because downloading games is better, are the same people that are excited about this. Oh, $100 definitely would sell, like $100 streaming box. What are you streaming? Streaming, yes. Chris Jones, streaming old games. Yes. Exactly. Why am I not excited? The same reason why I wasn't excited for the X. They basically said, you want to pay $500? You can play all the shit that you could play today. But go pay $500. We'll make you play it a little better, a little sharper. It'll be a little sharper. Pay us $500 to replay these games. I remember I was getting so annoyed last year when people were sitting there with games downloaded on their system going, oh, I'm waiting for the X. I'm like, are you fucking kidding? Like, I mean, they downloaded Forza. They're like, oh, I'm waiting to play it on the X. You're sitting there with a game downloaded on your Xbox right now, and you're going to wait a month or two to go pay $500 to go play that game? You're waiting for the X? Are you like, they made this game backwards. Oh, I can't wait to play this on the X. Like, really? If it meant for what? I'm just like, where have we gone? Where we went down the fucking hole. And I feel like that I'm like, I feel so passionate about this direction that they are going in. And I don't talk about Nintendo and Sony because you know what? They're just doing what they're doing, and they're just making games. They're not trying to put mobile strategies in games, trying to put some like bullshit subscriptions in there and all that other stuff. They're not trying to do that shit. They're just making a game. And then people tell me, no, man, Microsoft's the future. Oh, really? They're in last fucking place, but they're going to dictate the future. And they don't even have a fucking games lineup worth a damn, but they're going to tell the future of gaming. They're going to decide the future of gaming with the weak-ass fucking lineup they got. They're going to tell, they know the future. They're fucking Doc and Michael J. Fox and the fucking DeLorean. They're going to tell me about the future. They can't even break a fucking MPD. They can't even release a fucking game without bullshit like Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2. But they're the future. They're ready for the future. To stream what? I'm gonna stream. Oh wait. Oh yeah. I'm gonna go buy a next. I want to stream fucking. What is that game? Crimson Skies. I can't wait to play Crimson Skies. Everybody made a big deal about Crimson Skies. I put the game in. The online don't work. All Xbox original games don't work. But they're charging $10 and $5 for the fucking game to play it. What, for the campaign? But Crimson Skies are backwards compatible, but they shut the servers down. Yeah, good job. That's ass backward thinking right there. Why bother make and where is the new Xbox Games Enhanced? Where's that talk? We haven't got that in a while. Was Major Nelson waiting for MPD losses to talk about some backwards compatibility games? They're holding on to that news? I'm just sick. I'm sick of that talking. I'm sick of the bullshit of that. They're trying to predict our future as gamers without games. That's the thing. And the people sit there and make fucking lists and going like, oh, this is great. Refunds and all the. How can you predict how can they create a future of gaming without games? And don't tell me they bought studios, because that's bullshit. We don't even know what games those studios are going to make. And it sounds like Microsoft is going the mobile route. They talk mobile. They don't even have a fucking phone. They lost that war. They lost the phone. They're gone. Apple and Google slapped the bitch ass out of the competition. They even bought Nokia to try to come back. And they got slapped the hell out. Microsoft had no mobile strategy. Their mobile strategy now is to try to Trojan horse their ass onto Google and Apple and Amazon and try to get on their services. Microsoft has become a fucking Trojan horse because they cannot beat their competition. Because they have fucking octopus arms. You know the Kraken with the C-Dicks that I mentioned last week? That's Microsoft's divisions. They're all over the place, flapping their fucking C-Dicks in the air. That's them, all over here. We're going cloud, DirectX 12, the cloud, DirectX 12, the Xbox streaming cloud, the crackdowns, the Sea of Thieves service games. But they're flapping all over the fucking place. But they're making money while they're doing it. So guess what? They're not going to change. They're going to turn into a fucking Netflix box. You're going to be able to play your Xbox games on your phone because that's what they want. That's what they want. You want your next Halo Infinite? You better get your fucking phone ready because that's what you're going to play on. That's your future. All right? And you want to know what? Oh, no, that's not my future because I'm going to buy a $600 Xbox console. Well, you're the fucking idiot. Because you could go use your phone and play that game. And you want to know what else? You're going to go pay $600, $500 for a brand new Xbox, most powerful console in the world. Play that game, pay your subscription, and you're going to be playing with fucking little Timmy on his fucking 7-inch Samsung Galaxy 10. Yes, Williams. I'm talking about the cloud. I'm not talking. They are releasing an Xbox console. And if you heard, I'm just saying, you pay $500 for that console, you're going to be playing with people in the cloud. You're going to be playing people on their phones. You're going to be playing with all those people. And Microsoft can release they can release 6 fucking consoles. They can release 7 consoles. The most powerful console in the world. Fuck, they can make one that cracks open and you can put your own GPU in it. But who gives a shit if they're not providing you games from them to utilize that hardware? What? What are you going to play? Everybody else's games on it? Well, have a grand old time. But then go try to get your friends to buy that console and say, hey, man, why don't you play with me? And they'll be like, well, why? I could play the same games over here, and they're giving me games that you can't play anywhere else. And your friend's going to be like, well, I'm going to a PlayStation, a PC, a Switch. Because guess what? You could have your cake and eat it too. And isn't that the point of being a gamer? You want to play everything. So why don't you go to the place that's giving you everything? Why are you going to go to the place that's giving you shit in 60s? And you could play all that bullshit everywhere else. Guess what? I'll play your mediocrity over on this system over here. Plus, I'll play all the games that they're giving me right here that nobody else could play. So you could release 7 consoles. I don't give a shit. That's why I said on the last podcast, why are you happy for Xbox Next Gen? Why? For a game that they're going to release, they could talk about the Hovis method and the vapor chamber cooling and my asshole cooling and all this other bullshit cooling that's going on. Keep talking. DirectX shells baked on the chip like fucking Betty Crocker. What has it done? Make PUBG run at 20 fucking frames per second? Make State of Decay 2 blazing at 60 frames? Those are games for the... And the reason why I bring up those games is because those are the fucking games that they have. That's their games. That's not no third-party bullshit. That's their studios. That's their games. And what has the X done? What? What has that X done? The Hovis method. Let's talk to Hovis. How have you done this, Ami? Do you remember all that bullshit? And now they're talking about what? PUBG is not first party, but guess what? That PUBG game on their preview program is made by a studio that's partnered with Bluepoint. Because you could see the PC version is getting tons ass content, and Xbox is still trying to chase the map packs and still trying to chase frame rates. But that game right now is exclusively on console, as you would call a console exclusive to Xbox. So don't you think it should run great on the console, since that is the only version of the console that's available? I would think so. I would think if PUBG was just made for the Xbox, that preview program that's previewed only on Xbox systems, it would probably be optimized for that system. Don't you think? I would think. It's not. So PUBG, it doesn't run great on anything. It runs better on PC than it does on the console. But it is an exclusive. And then the other thing, it's a console exclusive. And then State of Decay 2, what's that? State of Decay 2 was made on PC and on Xbox. They didn't make it for anything else. And that game ran worse on the Xbox and better on PC. And from our interview on Planet Xbox, they said that's multi-platform development. So when you're making a game, and the same thing, you go look at Halo Infinite. Go look at Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite says Windows 10 and Xbox. It's coming to both systems. And you're going to see Windows 10, and you're going to see Xbox, and you'll see streaming services on mobile. Yeah, that's right. But you're going to see, like, that will be the next thing. It'll be like Xbox Mobile or something along those lines, and that'll be referring to their app. But my thing is that that app is accessible on your phone. So basically, your phone could be a streaming Xbox. How are you excited about the future when you know that no games are being made for the specific hardware that the whole reason why the console exists? Why do we need better consoles? Like, why do we need better consoles? For what? They're making games on PC and porting it over to the Xbox. What are we waiting for? Are we waiting for their next console to what? To give me a better processor because that's the solution to everything? It's not. And when you see games from the ground up being built for the Switch, being built for PlayStation, those games look better than anything else. And that's the whole reason why. And you know what? I'm not going to keep going about it. Go listen to Seamus Blackley and the reason why the Xbox was created, why consoles exist. PC sucks. PC gaming sucks. I'm a console gamer. I just happened to get a PC because I'm playing Microsoft's game. And I could play their sporadic games that they release. And I could play it on my computer. And that's what it's for. I don't sit here and play. It's a pain in the ass. Like using Steam Big Picture. You know how a pain in the ass it is to play Xbox on PC? It's inconvenient, but you don't have to pay for Xbox Live. And basically the reason why I got a PC was because when Phil said all their games are going to PC, I said, I'm not waiting for the next Xbox Project Scorpio. I'm going to go get a PC now and play their games in 4K now and not wait for an Xbox. And my plan was to just migrate right back to Xbox One X. But when they didn't have any games look for the Xbox One X. I'm not talking about games specifically made for it, but they didn't have any game lineup. I was not buying an X to play old games because I just did that with my PC for an entire year. But I'm a console gamer. I have a PC that could play games, and I play their Xbox games on it with a controller. Because I learned real quick, you can't play, like, if you're a controller person, good luck playing on PC. Like, you can't. And half the games, like a lot of you get older games, they don't even work with controllers. Then you got to buy controller software programs. But PC gaming is not that great. Like, sit here with no glorious PC, and it's like, oh, this is all I play on. Now, you want to know why? I told you. I bought a PlayStation last year, and I played it. And all the lies that I was told, how the PlayStation was bullshit, it sucked, it had only indie games on it. I've been playing that. And I've been playing their exclusives. And I'm just like, as I'm playing that PlayStation, I kept looking at my Xbox going, what the fuck are you doing over there? And then when it talked, Phil Spencer's voice came out of my Xbox and was like, services. And another Xbox for $500 so you can play all the games that you've been playing. And I'm like, what? The fuck out of here. Yeah. And then I played another game, Until Dawn. And I played Uncharted. And I played Horizon. And I played God of War. And I played all these games on my PlayStation. And every time I was playing them, I would put my headphones on. I'm like, holy shit, that game is fucking good. And I said, all my years gaming on Xbox, I've never experienced, like, the games really haven't been that moving, have been that amazing and immersive. You got your Halo and Gears, but they were getting kind of long in the tooth, and they were getting more teasy. Like, they were teasing more stuff rather than getting right in depth with the characters. They were more alluding to things. And they want you to, like, listen to the podcast or wait to the next version or read the books. And they got real kind of like you don't really know what's going on, but that's the way we're going to hook you. And I just felt that, like, these games are like movies that I was playing on the PlayStation. And not only that, the Pro looked damn good on a 4K TV. I was playing. I'm like, wow, this game looks great. I'm hitting the share button. I'm like, Microsoft, where's your share button? Where can you go right to Twitter? And I hit a Twitter button, and people like the photos and stuff. And I'm like, whoa, this system and its ability for sharing is like light years ahead of Xbox. Upload Studio is a fucking ancient piece of shit. And Share Factory is a fucking video editor. You can plug a USB thumb drive and do it. But lies were told to me as I was following Xbox, and I was diehard Xbox. Seeing Share Factory shit, the indie station play. I was like, yeah, fuck the PlayStation. Who wants to buy a PlayStation and play some indie bullshit games? I bought Next Generation to play games, and I was playing Halo. I was playing Sunset. I was playing Forza Horizon. But then all of a sudden, games dried up. And we started talking about bullshit. And the games are still dry. And we're talking bullshit. Meanwhile, everybody else seems to be doing fucking fine. And people tell me this bullshit that we're talking about is the future. Meanwhile, it's getting stomped out by other competition that's just doing the same shit that we've been doing since 85. Releasing great games, third parties doing what they're doing with their services, and they're releasing games unique to their platform, targeted for their hardware, customized for their hardware, only playable on that hardware. And Xbox is talking bullshit. They're talking mobile. They're making games just for mobile. As an Xbox console player, how can you applaud Gears Tactics? How can you be excited when the son of a bitch comes on stage and talks about, we care about you. We care about the Xbox player. All you people wearing your jerseys out there, you are important to us. And then got Rod Ferguson trot out on stage and talk about a pop game for mobile phones. You don't even have a fucking phone, but you're putting it on Android and iPhone, Trojan horse style. And then Gears Tactics coming out this year. But Gears 5, we get 2019. But Gears Tactics, how would you be in that crowd wearing that Xbox green gold, bleeding green, and clap for that? That you're not even going to be able to play it because you're a hardcore Xbox owner. You're sitting in that crowd, Xbox, bleed green, hugging Aaron Greenberg, doing all that shit. And motherfuckers are putting games exclusively on shit that you can't play it on unless you go buy your Windows computer. Hi, I'm at Best Buy. Can I help you with a Windows gaming PC? Yeah, they put some Gears of War on PC that I can't play on my Xbox. Well, welcome to the family. That's what they want you to do because they think you're drinking that Kool-Aid. And thanks, Jamie. Thanks, Jamie. I appreciate that. Because I think more people should be angry instead of applauding this. Like, I don't rant about Sony because I don't give a shit about Sony. Sony's just bringing the goods and I'm eating them up. I'm not no fucking diehard. I was Xbox. This is no bullshit. I wasn't no fucking PlayStation fan and 2 PlayStations. I didn't even have a PlayStation 2. I bought that shit one night to try to play San Andreas, and I'm like, this shit's trash. I don't want to play this. Give me my Xbox. And I played my Xbox forever. And then I played the 360. I didn't even look. God of War was the only one I bought for PlayStation 3. And then I played Mod Nation Racers, which you got to bring that shit back. And as an owner of a console, of an Xbox console, they have failed me. And I went to the competition. And the competition has every right to be stomping the shit out of them because they are fucked up. And they want to talk cloud and services and people want to jerk off all over their screen for that stuff. It's all talk, jibber jabber bullshit. Keep fucking talking. Keep eating it up. Go jerk off about the Hovis method. What has it done for you lately? Done nothing. Why are you excited about that? What are you excited about? What? Halo Infinite? Every one of their fucking games, Halo is going to be a service. They want you to subscribe. They're turning all their games, all those studios. That's why I don't trust that they bought studios. What are they going to make? A fucking mobile game, Lucky Sevens? That's the strategy. Go to your iPhone store. I challenge everybody listening to this fucking show. Go to your Play Store. Go to your iTunes store, whatever the bullshit, Apple Store. And go download a quote-unquote free game. And look at that little thing on the bottom saying in-app purchasing. That's your Xbox, people. Enjoy it. Because every one of their goddamn games is going to be that. It is going to be a mobile game. It's going to be a game to get you to buy in and stay around and subscribe and pay. And not only are you going to pay for the hooks of the game with microtransactions, but you're going to also pay for the services to access those games. Forza Horizon 3 has turned into an MMO. Forza Horizon has turned into an MMO. It is now a Destiny-style game. Gears 4, and then you're talking old-ass games. I'm talking about their future games. And Gears 4, their big deal with Gears 4 was giving you those bounty cards. Give me those cards, baby. Get those bounty cards. Get those loot boxes out there. Forza Horizon 3 was not one. Forza Horizon 4 has changed. Forza Horizon 4 now is more styled like Destiny. It is like an open world MMO type game. Yes, you could play offline. But the way it's structured, and also, too, it's a living game. It changes the seasons every week. It is definitely an event-driven game now. It is an online, always connected game. Now, while you may be able to play offline, the focus of Forza Horizon right now, no, but if you listen to the fucking articles, you would know that. Forza Horizon 4, go listen to them. Go listen to them. The seasons change every week. It's a service-based game. They have events that you'll be driving to. So those games are MMO style. GT Sport is not an online required game. You could play that game well. It's not an open world. So, and again, I'm not talking about this versus that, but Microsoft right now is turning all their games into a service. So, yeah, well, go check. GT Sport has added a campaign that was last year. They added all campaign racing and all that other stuff to it. So you seem like you came back. You must be back in the future. You must be playing 360 games, Williams. Enjoy. Go play your old ass games because you got an old ass mentality. Keep up with the news, motherfucker. Now let's move on. So I'm telling you, they're taking their games and they're putting them in the cloud. It's the reason why they're going to the Halo Infinite. Is going to be a platform. Why is Matt Booty the head of all their studios? Matt Booty led the biggest service-based game ever in Minecraft. And every single time Phil Spencer talks, it's Minecraft. It's all about Minecraft. It's all about that model. They don't want to be building these blockbuster games, 4s and 5s and 6s. They want to put out a game that's just big and evolves, just like Sea of Thieves. We have evidence of this stuff. And the fact that they're really focusing on the streaming and the Game Pass and all that other stuff, day and date. See, that's the key. It's day and date Game Pass. This game is not selling in its window for like 6 to 8 weeks, 6 to 8 months, and then going into a subscription model. No, these games are releasing day and date. Okay? They're releasing day and date. So when they're releasing day and date, they're also getting bought at $60, but they also need to have that hook. And my whole and the reason why I even said this last week, the biggest issue that I had was I did not want the games to be built for the service. The services are great. Make those services, but don't build the games for the service because the game design is going to be affected by it. And don't do it. Just don't do it. Like, don't put the games. Don't make the game service. Just make good games, and the services will come. People will subscribe to you. You know, what happens if Netflix came out and was talking about their streaming service and they were going to do all those old movies? It didn't even gain steam until they started making their own content, exclusive content. Same thing with HBO. HBO just used to regurgitate everybody else's movies, but then they came out with The Sopranos and their own unique content, and people subscribed. The content drives the service. So if Microsoft is not providing that content now and telling us to wait for that content, and all they're talking about is the services, it's putting the cart before the horse. It's like we don't understand why we're going back and like, why are they talking about the services? They seem to be very forward about where they want to be with their services, but they seem to be clueless about the games that they're delivering. And that's where a reason why I even came onto this thing was because I feel like, again, we're talking about hardware and services again. And we're not talking about the games. That's the whole problem. And the games that we were told are basically, the thing is that the games that we're not talking about the games. We haven't talked about games. And that's where I'm flabbergasted about this whole bullshit. We have not talked about the games. And then they only talk about the games that we have is when it releases, and we have to damage control it for a month and a half, going why State of Decay released as it was, and why Sea of Thieves is the way it is with lack of content. Like that's the problem that we have. It's like that's the only time we talk about the game is to defend it. So why do we even that's the only time we talk about the games? And then they bought studios, and we don't even know what games they're making. We know Fable, but they didn't confirm Fable. Okay, but we're speculating they're making Fable on Playground Games. Now they might make some sort of adventure game down in what's the guy who did Tomb Raider over in that studio in Santa Monica. Ninja Theory might make. We know the State of Decay guys are making. The State of Decay guys are making. Basically State of Decay 3. And they're going to hopefully make which State of Decay 2 should have been. But we talked about cloud. Now, guys, the cloud has been here. The cloud has been here, right? But State of Decay 2 didn't use any cloud. They did peer-to-peer. So, like I said before, Microsoft has used their games as they really haven't demonstrated the technology that they're talking about. And Fable, I really can't wait for Fable. I'm really interested in what it looks like. But that game is going to live and die by its trailer because people are going to be turned off if they make that basically a cartoon-ish game, which that's what Fable is kind of, And the thing is that Fable, if they make it looking like The Witcher, then, that's what people kind of want. They want a mature Fable. They want mature games. The mature themes that were handled in Hellblade. We talk about Ninja Theory, Hellblade. I want to say this. Why the hell did Hellblade come out exclusively for PlayStation and then get ported over to Xbox over just about a year later? If I recall, and again, go back and see, but I thought that game was proposed to both Sony and Microsoft thought it was too mature of content to be presented on. They thought it was just too, regarding the the schizophrenia and stuff like that. That it was too deep or something like that. It was too mature content to put on there, and they turned down the game Hellblade, and they went with Xbox. They went with PlayStation. They proposed the game to both companies. And then you tell me that game comes out on PlayStation, then it gets ported over to Xbox, and Microsoft buys them, and they go, what an amazing game. Well, I want to know whose job was it when Hellblade was being shopped around or when Hellblade was being made by a developer, who was the person at Microsoft to go look and say, that's a game we want on our platform? Because that person should be fired. Because is that the same person that went and said, we want Titanfall on our platform? Like, who's the person that's looking at these games and shopping around and making sure that these are the games that our audience wants? Because that guy has failed this generation. And again, it's about the content. And even if you had a Hellblade and you had your Game Pass and Hellblade was in that Game Pass and you had it for a year or 6 months, think about the value. Because when Phil Spencer says it, he does not believe in timed content or timed games, timed exclusives. He don't believe to pay to keep something off their service. And you see this in evidence in how the games wind up to be only on Xbox for a console launch exclusive is because they're utilizing the Microsoft services. Or they're indie games like Chris Chala, and they go to ID at Xbox games. But who's shopping around for like the AA games, like those other games? Like, who's doing that? And I want to know who that person's job is, because that person has failed because they don't know what the core console owner wants. And I keep saying that. And then they keep talking about this bigger picture. And I always say it on this show. What does reaching out to 2 billion people like? And you looked at their latest financials, they incorporated Switch Minecraft users in their Xbox engagement numbers. That's what it counts to. And that could be another reason why Sony doesn't want to contribute to that, to make their competition boost up their numbers to look bigger than what they are, by using them as a Trojan horse. Oh, well, we'll just give you all Minecraft players. So, maybe that's one of the reasons why they don't want to do Minecraft crossplay. Or the other ones, I don't know. But the thing is that they have a bigger picture in mind. So, I don't understand how a person could say, I'm an Xbox console fan, when Microsoft constantly talks about every which way they could benefit from games outside of Xbox. They play trick games. They play tricks like with numbers and stuff like that. But how do you excited for a console that basically they said they have to think beyond the console? And Meds, what's up, man? I'm going to give you a question here. He says, you ran off about Xbox and Microsoft do wrong. I'd like to know what you want from them that will fix the current miss if you were in charge. So what I would have done, and I rant about this all the time, and like I said, I'm passionate more about Microsoft, and and then playing the PlayStation stuff has definitely made me realize what Microsoft has been missing, and seeing that exclusive content. So this is my the current mess. I gotcha. So what I would have done with them right now is, okay, fine. I understand this hardware and power issue was a thing. Okay. That I don't have a problem with. But what they needed to do is they needed to build the content. And I said this a bunch of times. They introduced a character just with Halo and Gears. They introduced a character with Locke. They made a movie about him. Whatever it was in Nightfall, they made a movie about Locke. They introduced this character. All right. He was chasing down Master Chief. Halo 5 came and went. They released content in multiplayer map packs, but never evolved the story. And then seeing how much they invest in that character, they should have made a Locke expansion, a game that explains him to build him up, or an expansion to Halo. Like, how can you not have kind of spin-offs and stuff to Halo? You got a studio named 343 that just does Halo. They should be spitting out content. The games every couple of years should be some type of Halo game. Something. Some either campaign, $40, $30 little project. And Halo wasn't even made by them. It was a collaboration, and the Creative Assembly made it. And then Gears of War, especially if you're taking Gears of War 5 in the direction of following Kate's story, don't you think that they should have done an expansion a la Lost Legacy style and build your franchises? Lost Legacy, even Horizon Zero Dawn, build that character up. They did it with the Frozen Wildlands. Like, Sony's following the 360's playbook. Microsoft made sure that they built their franchises, and you were just engulfed by them. And yes, it's Halo and Gears, but they should have done that. We should have been playing last year a Sunset Overdrive 2. We should have had a Rise 2. We should have had sequels to the games that launched on the console, because yes, they might have been rough. They might have not been the top games, but that's why you make a sequel. Look what Uncharted 1 did. That first game wasn't that great, and Uncharted 2 blew it out of the water. Gears of War 1 was very, very limited. It was pop and shoot. Gears of War 2 blew it up, and it advanced the multiplayer to be bigger and better. That's what sequels do. They evolve the franchises. They could have did that. Recall was a trash game. They could have we should be playing these games now. We should be playing and talking about these games now. Last year, we should have been talking about these games. This year, we should have been talking about these games. Next year, we should be talking about these games. And all we got right now is this ghost of Crackdown 3. We have Gears of War 5, Kate's story, in sometime in 2019. Halo Infinite, who knows when. No date was given. And we got and we got Forza coming out like every other year. They're great games, but again, even with the Forza franchises, Forza 3 was great. Forza Horizon 3 was great. Forza Horizon 4 should have added more different types of vehicles. Done that. I know it's a racing game, but they could have added motorcycles. They could have added the hovercraft. The hovercraft race is basically your car versus the AI as a hovercraft, just like you could race the helicopter or the plane in Forza Horizon 3. Forza Horizon 4, they should have added on to it, because people don't want to just get in the same car they raced in Forza Horizon 3 and just drive around Europe now. Also, too, the landscape of Forza Horizon 4 is a little similar. I know Australia and England are not the same, but Japan would have been really cool with volcanoes and the city, and Tokyo with the lights and the HDR. That would have been really cool. But the thing that I feel is that they have basically abandoned all their IP, all their stuff that they could be evolving the software aspect. And instead, the talk that we got was all about the back end architecture of their hardware and their services, which is not fun as a gamer. That's not fun. Sitting here talking about cloud and streaming is not fun. when you can't put a controller and play the cloud. So the thing that why I rant about it is because everything that comes out of them, all the leaks, man, give me some friggin' leaks about games or some shit like that. We don't even talking about games. And that's the thing that gets me. It's like if we all play games and you do this for games, then why are they not talking about games? And then on top of that, just to dig the knife deeper, when they talk about games, it's not necessarily about the Xbox. And yes, I understand that it's not moving the development. Who knows? Somebody greenlit it and somebody was getting paid to work on it. But Halo and Dave and Buster's, the mobile game of the racing game from Forza, they thought it was Forza Kart. It's basically Forza Kart, but it is. People were thinking, oh, you could have Banjo and almost like a Mario Kart style with Microsoft IP. Like, where's the fun? Too much tech, and like I said, too much Windows in my Xbox. And that is, I know it's a long-winded answer, but there's too much Windows in Xbox. The 360 was its own beast, and every time that people went on stage, it was about games. It was about games. It could have been about Kinect bullshit, but it could have been about Rock Band, but it was always about games. It wasn't somebody talking and getting applause for Hovis method. 6 teraflops of power. Woo! Woo! It's a monster. Like, no. Yes, that's cool. And then you show us no games for the system. Wouldn't you love them to show some amazing game that looks incredible? And I hate to compare. Well, I have to compare. They have to compare. Look at God of War. Look at Spider-Man that comes out in 2 months. Like, look at those games. Wouldn't you love a game like that to be shown for Xbox and be like, yes, the power of the Xbox One X and the vape keeps this game running at a smooth 30 frames per second. I don't give a shit about 60 frames. A 30 frame, like, just give me a good game. I'm so this sick of it right now. I'm so desperate for a game talk. Just give me a game. Like, wouldn't you like a game that looks like a Spider-Man, that looks like God of War, that just put on the Xbox and we could play it here? Like, it really is just sad. And the thing that it told me is that if it could get this bad and we could have another holiday just with Forza, because I challenge everybody, please go back to every single holiday lineup from Microsoft. There is always a game, whether it was Halo, whether it was Gears, whether it was Forza, whether it was Fable. There was always a Microsoft game. There was never just a Forza year. There was never just Forza and then it said Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and all that and Kwanzaa. There was never just a racing game and Microsoft was done. They would save everything. Hell, even if you not even go back to that far, they released Gears of War Ultimate, Halo 5, and Tomb Raider, all playable on their console. And people could say, and that was the year I think they really realized that they're not going to beat Sony. Because what happened was that they just fell so far behind, they couldn't beat them. Because they had to get sales. And then that's why they abandoned the games. And that's why we're in the situation that we're in now. I think they saw that they thought that probably Halo was going to be their turning point, and it didn't. And when they saw that, that's when they started talking PC. Yeah, we're going to PC. Gears of War is going to be on PC. Forza Apex. And, and we're talking about this cloud thing now. And it's like, you can't beat them, join them, and just be streamable. Like, I understand they're releasing a next piece of hardware, but I'm really just done with this hardware and services talk. And all we got for games news is we got studios. You got what are they making? We got rumors what one's making. We know we're making State of K3. Is that going to be another 5-6 years? And just to back up to Med's question, not only would I have built out our franchises and expansions to Halo and expansions to this, every game is not going to be a million seller. And Sony knows that. Even Nintendo knows that. With Kirby didn't sell like Kirby. You still put it out there. You still have a presence, your own. You're a platform holder. You need to have a presence on your platform because nobody's going to do it for you. You got to demonstrate from yourself. And if you're releasing everything that's coming out is mediocre, that's not good. You need to actually release incredible games. Exactly, Meds, like Lost Leaders. Like basically, you're right. You know, you and just like Detroit Become Human, like that wasn't the amazing thing. And even that other game, it was a great game, but that was not. Yeah, Gravity Rush, Knack 2, you got it. You got to take hits, but you got to show a presence. You're a platform holder. You like it's like if you open up a restaurant and you don't eat your own food. Like you make food for all the people. I make food in my restaurant, but I don't eat my own food. Like if you don't like your own food, then nobody else is gonna like it. Like if you don't have pride in what you make and what you are selling, I'm sure they have pride, but if you're not demonstrating all that power and what you can do with it, nobody else is going to do it for you. EA is not going to come in here and go, well, that DirectX 12, yeah, we want to focus on that. No, because they got 4 other versions to make. And unfortunately, you're not the lead platform, so you even have a bigger uphill battle to fight. That's why you needed to crack down on your own IP. Similar to what Sony did at the end of the generation with the PlayStation 3. They built on Last of Us. They built on the God of War. They had Heavy Rain, which that wasn't that good, but they invested in their IP to get people hooked so that when the sequels came out, they were bigger and better. And not only that, they remastered them so the people on the next generation could experience some of those games. So they kind of like built a fan base slowly but surely to blow up, say, now Last of Us 2, and now it's like a cultural phenomenon. Microsoft should be doing that because I'm telling you right now, whenever this next generation starts in 2020 and 2019, Microsoft's backing into it because they don't have the lineup, nor do they have the momentum of games coming from them to be excited about a platform. When Sony is like, they're going to have the potential of whatever the next Uncharted is, Last of Us 2, whatever Ghost of Tsushima, if that is current generation. But I'm not even talking about the games that we know about. I'm going to talk about games. God of War 2. What is it? The Horizon Zero Dawn 2. And that's because they had a presence on the PlayStation, and now they got momentum for the sequels to be even bigger and better. And that's what Microsoft should have been doing. They should have been building up their IP. They should have went to the vault and pulled out Banjo and pulled. They teased us with Rare Replay like they were going to do something, and they just dropped it. They put Battletoads inside of Killer Instinct. Well, I want to know. I ask all you guys here. Shout out. I had 12 people. What happened to Killer Instinct? We were rolling around with the seasons. They were adding characters to it, building that game. Why did they stop? You had a thing going there. You had an exclusive fighter. You had your exclusive characters being put in there, almost like a battle mode. Like, why did we stop? Why didn't you put like a creator in there? Like, oh, you can make your own fighters. Or, hey, and then we're going to add, and here's a Master Chief. Oh, and here's they added the guys from Gears of War. They added, they added the guy from Gears of War 1. Like, they add Battletoads. They add the Arbiter. Like, come on, keep going. Have fun with it. Why are we stopping? You got to have the momentum because when you come out and look what happened with the Xbox One X, they try to make the momentum about 4K. But it was not about the games. When they showed the games, everybody's like, well, wait, I have that game already. I don't want, wait, they don't have any new games? And I'm not talking about new exclusive games, but they have new games. So if they roll out the next console and we know games are 2 to 3 years off, we don't even know what games they are. But Sony is, and that's why they're going in their IP hard. And Dreams is another one. That's what I'm going to say. That's another lost league. Dreams is just a creation tool. That's no 1 million seller. Exactly. And oh, yeah, and Jemiah Dixon just said it. Jemiah Dixon said it. Alan Wake 2 and Quantum Break 2. We just had that article a couple of days ago. How they declined those two games. Even Sunset Overdrive 2. Naughty Dog's sitting there going, oh, not Naughty Dog. Well, not Irrational. What the fuck are they on? The guys that make the Insomniac is sitting there and they're like, Sunset Overdrive 2's on table. Microsoft just had to green light it. Why? Why did they say no to those games? Alan Wake 2, Quantum Break 2, Sunset Overdrive 2, Gears of War expansion, Halo expansion, Rise 2. Holy crap. I could put a list of games, like 10 of them instantly we should have been playing already now or have them last year, this year, or next year. If this was really about the Xbox console and people should be excited, this is what I have 10 games right there. 10. 3 years worth of games that we should have been playing already or know that's coming out. Instead, we got Forza, the only one keeping the light on, like a fucking lighthouse. Just the only one that we got. There's all this darkness, and we got a little lighthouse. Yeah, it's Forza. There you go. It's an off year with Forza 7. Oh, well, we got Forza Horizon. That's it. But meanwhile, they push a Lucky's Tales out. What the fuck that was. And they take Gears Tactics. They're starving on the console. They're starving. They're thirsty. And you take Gears Tactics and say, yeah, this holiday it's coming to PC. Oh, who would that a swift kick in the nuts? Oh, but here Gears 5, it's Kate's story. You know, you want to know about Marcus and his son, but it's about Kate. It's like, okay. And here's Gears Pop for your phone people. I don't know how you get excited about that. And then how you sit there and go, oh, I can't wait for the most powerful console coming out. We just got it. You just got it at the X. And look at that thing. It's not flying off the shelves. And I said it last week. How do you know it's not flying off the shelves? They haven't won the NPD since that thing launched. And if everybody and their mother was waiting for the Xbox One X to really invest in Xbox, how's the fucking Switch at $300 beating it? Because the $500 console's not selling. That's why the $300 Switch is not beating it. And Nintendo's releasing Tennis, Smash, and also talk about this holiday. Come on. Spider-Man's going to roll into this holiday with that fucking console. NPD on, like, they won that. And then say Microsoft don't care. Oh, Microsoft doesn't care. They don't care about selling that console. Then I ask you, why do you care about buying one? If they don't care about the console, why do you care to buy one? And buy their next one nonetheless, if they don't care. And if they want to stream their games, this Scarlet Cloud and this whole, like, and come back to the topic, like, this whole $100 thing, or not, it's not going to be one. This little stream box, that's going to run the app. That's probably going to be playable on your phone. Because that's where they want to go. They already got the TV with your console. They got that taken care of. They don't have the mobile at all. They don't have the phone market at all. And they can, if they could put their games on a phone and hook up to some Xbox controller, I even heard, I think Jez Corden even said they even have a controller that's like an old school fucking Android, like, you know, you clip your phone in and you can play it that way. Like, they even got that bogus bullshit to play your Xbox games on your phone. And you know, and it comes back full circle to, how do you sit there with a paid subscribing consumer paying $500 for a premium experience, and they're paying $60 to play online for their premium experience, and you got anybody on 4G networks and mobile phones and touch screens and tablets and all this other stuff, and you're playing with those people, and you're sitting there with a premier experience. And it goes into some other thing. Like I said last week about Halo Wars, what they did with Halo Wars 2. They took Halo Wars 2 and they merged the PC with the console owner against your better judgment. There you go. You can't divide above it. There you go. 2 versus 2, PC console, go. They didn't separate those playlists. That's it, because the install base dried up. So have a wonderful time paying your premium Xbox Live subscription on the console to go get some freelance PC guys that are playing on there, playing for free and using a better input device. Because where is keyboard and mouse support on the Xbox? Microsoft has to put in the work. That's the thing. You got to build the infrastructure. If you want this stuff to work, this cross-play anywhere, you got to build the infrastructure. That Windows 10 store is a piece of shit. You're still talking about keyboard and mouse for your Xbox. Who's developing those playlists to do that before them? And the thing is that you don't have an install base worth a damn to even be successful in providing those 2 different inputs, because you're alienating people. Say you got 3,000 people playing, and 2,000 of them are playing on the controller, and you got like 1,000 of them playing on keyboard. Good luck finding a game if you want to play keyboard. You need to have an install base. And know how you get an install base? You make a good game. It should be all about the games. That is full circle my thoughts on this whole thing. You need to make the games. That builds the install base. That builds the mind share. That gives you your audience. And then you could do anything you want with them. Look what they did with the Minecraft crowd. Microsoft didn't do that. They bought it when it was a thing. But look what they did with the Fortnite crowd. They got them all. They could do season 7s and 8s and do anything. Throw Thanos in there because they got the install base. But you had to make a good game. You can't give you a limited Sea of Thieves and go, we're building upon this game, we're building upon this game. Oh, here comes some content next month, and they'll have a little guy running around. We'll have some shark run around the water in the following month. That install base is, the engagement numbers are dropping. Each month, they're dropping. You had to make a solid game that people stayed and that they want more content to. Like, I never understand this concept. You give me a full game and then you expand on it. Like, look at Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5, that game is big enough, right? And then they added the spin-offs of the Vietnam and then the Mars and then the zombies. But imagine that game was like, 50, was like limited content, Far Cry, and you had to wait for those other ones to make the game say, oh, well, in total, that game was worth the damn. No, you got to give me a full game up front and then expand the worlds. And that's the thing what I was saying, back to the whole Halo stuff. Halo 5 was a full game. Halo Gears 4 was a good, the story was kind of weak. The cliffhanger, whatever. But the multiplayer was lackluster. They added bounty cards and called it a day. And they had that weird season pass thing where, like, you keep the maps, you can play with your friends. I know for a fact, my friend, we were so hardcore Gears players, and that game lasted probably about 2 to 3 weeks with my friends, the crew that I played with since 2010, 27. Since like original Xbox, we played Halo and Gears. That's all we played, all those games. And it was my crew. And then everybody went back to playing whatever, like Fallout and stuff. Nobody stayed for Gears of War. And then when we played, we're like, whatever. Like, this is the same game. And there was no new content in Gears of War. There was no environmental kills. There was no like, they should have had maybe horde enemies running around as you fight. They could have done so many things. I'm not a game developer, but we're next gen or current gen. We have the power of these systems that you sold us to. Like, but instead, like, I just don't understand. Every word that comes out of them is about, and yes, I understand that they didn't say this. This was a leak, but Phil did bring this up at E3 after he promised to everybody. They said they won E3 and all this other stuff. They made studios. They showed a lot of third-party games. Fine. But Phil basically committed to everybody saying, we're here in the long run for games, and then announced a bunch of games not going on the console. And then on top of that, announced a streaming service and then talked about how they're coming out with another console. So what they're going to do is crack open that Xbox One X. They're going to solder on a better CPU on it, maybe put a faster hard drive on it, close it all up, and sell it as the X2 and give it to you for fucking $500 again and drop the X to $400. They spent a lot of research and development probably making that console as compact and form factor as it was, so it's modular. Because remember, he did talk about that. Everybody thought that the new Xbox was going to be modular, and I think it is. If you watch the guy that takes apart systems, I forgot his name, but he's on YouTube and he just undoes the systems. You can see how very segmented and controlled the Xbox One X was built, that it's easily to take out something and put something back in. Like, it is modular. So they could basically take the same shell and just make it a more powerful machine. Similar to like what Samsung does with their phones. Like, they really haven't changed the form factor much from their phones. And once they got to them, Ben Heck, that's who it is. Ben Medscama says it. Yeah, Medscama J says it. But basically, he takes the if you take, once you get a ideal design, they did a similar thing with the Surface too. You just keep upgrading it. So they spent a lot of research and development in that. So them saying we're making another console, I'm sure they're just gonna, maybe they'll put a little spin on it, make the case a little different. But they are going to basically just upgrade it like a modular phone, and they're just gonna say all your games come with you, and that's gonna be their push, just like with the X. And I agree. And let's go back to Meds. What Meds said, yeah, Gears of War felt very samey. It did. And if they change it up, like, Judgment was horrible. Judgment was made like an arcade machine game. Like, that was done from the guys that made Bulletstorm. So that was like segmented in little high scores and combos and stuff. That was atrocious. That wasn't Gears of War. They tried to throw in the same characters. But again, that was a spinoff. And it didn't have Marcus in it and stuff. It had Coltrane and Barrett and stuff like that. So again, like, they got to be real careful where they go with this Kate thing. And, I hope Marcus and JD are involved, because you do want to see their story. You don't want to sit back Gears 5, not know what's going on with Marcus, and wait until Gears 6 to find out what their story is going on. And you just follow Kate for Gears 5. I hope we don't have to wait that long, because that's going to be, another 4 or 5 years? These games take so long to make. When are you going to see it? That's why we need to have like more content expansions to that. And yeah, I agree. Well, what happened with Gears was, Meds, what you said with Gears was that they gave us Gears Ultimate, and then they just kept throwing all that backwards compatibility Gears of War at us. So by the time Gears 4 came out, you played enough Gears of War that you were satisfied. And the fact that Gears of War 4 multiplayer wasn't that much different. It didn't like flip the script or put in like amazing game modes, or like I had one. Again, I'm not a game developer, but Gears of War 4 multiplayer mode, capture a Brumac. Either you have just like captured a bomb or capture bases. How would you have to go that each team has a Brumac? And you could say, and I even said this for Capture the Titan for Titanfall 2, how they didn't have this. Each team has a Brumac, and you basically got to go into their base, steal their Brumac, and yes, you can't walk across the same map, but there's probably a Brumac path that you got to walk around the outside of the map as a Brumac, and they got to shoot it out and kill it before it gets back to their own base. I'm not a game developer. I don't know how that works, but that's something that I would be like, damn, that's next gen. That's Gears of War 4, baby. Capture a Brumac. Or there's a Brumac in the middle of the map, and you got to get on him, and you got to go kill them with it. Like, whoever could capture the Brumac. Like, come on. You got him in horde mode. Just throw it in there. But I'm not a game designer, but I'm just saying, like, that when people are like, well, what do you want from Gears 4? Hey, that sounds damn good. That sounds like some next-gen shit. That's the kind of stuff that we should be seeing. Innovation. Things that push the thing forward, not bounty cards. And this is where I'm seeing a lot of the Microsoft services and a lot of their design kind of get pushed in there. Like, how can we make another buck on everybody rather than just making a good game and having a good game sell? Like, hey, Sea of Thieves, that beta. I remember I was yelled at for a month on the fucking podcast for over a month. Sea of Thieves beta. I'm like, oh, that game is shit. They need more content. It's a beta, man. It's a fucking beta. That game released exactly the state that it was in the beta. The same mission, they maybe had 2 more mission people. So Microsoft, and they said it was a games as a service. He did that. He says the games as a service. So you give me 10% of a game, and the rest of it is coming in free content that gets trickled out over the next 2 months. All I'm saying is they better not do that with Halo. What's up, Bose Moose? How you doing? And Emily, what's up, man? Let's see. Microsoft, he said that, yeah, I agree, man. Gear should have been a hiatus. Microsoft should keep Xbox One X support for a little longer for next gen, make the game cross-platform. I agree. I think that's exactly what they're going to do. Like, I think they're going to make the X the base console, and when they move on, because right now they had to keep that promise with the family of the Xbox One. Now, with the Xbox One X, I can't see them just leaving all that power or 6 teraflops on the table and not using that as a kind of a leapfrog into that one. And I said it in my previous show, like the way I feel that they're going to do next gen is very kind of like a cell phone model. That it's just going to be that more 15% more powerful, 15% faster, 20% this, 30% that, 10% smaller, 10% quieter. It's going to be that, and then they're going to sell that at 5, drop the X to 4, and probably keep those S's around. Like, I can't see them they're not going to, they said future and backwards compatible. So, that everything they make is going to work going forward, and everything that they make should work going backward, I guess, to the previous generation, but they are forward compatible. So, everything you buy now will work with the future console. That's the question that Sony has to answer with the PlayStation 5. I think they're going to be games that they just make for the PlayStation 5. And I also think the PlayStation 5 is going to develop that PlayStation Now service. I think they're going to do that better streaming and more focus on the Now service, because they keep adding more and more games to it and evolving the store and how PlayStation Now is integrated and stuff like that. So I do think next generation is going to be more about the streaming. But again, I said it's about the content. If you're going to stream the games that people could play on their other consoles, I don't think that's going to be a big factor. But if you are coming out with bangers on your console that are launching day and date with your service, now I'm going to subscribe to your Scarlet Cloud. If you're releasing some games that look awesome, that play awesome, I'm going to get your Xbox, and I'm going to want to play that game on my phone, so I might subscribe to your service so I could keep playing that game when I leave. But again, we saw Nintendo's kind of doing that right now with the Switch, and we're seeing the limitations of that. Mobile gaming is nice, but you got to take the sacrifice. You're on the road, you're going to be able to, play that. But now Nintendo solved that by giving you tangible controllers. Microsoft is going to give you an accessory, and I'm telling you, because you're not going to use touchscreen to play Xbox Scarlet Cloud games on your cell phone. You're going to want a controller. Now, does that mean you keep an Xbox controller in your pocket? Like when you run out and, hey, I'm in line right now at the bank. I just want to whip out and just, play a mission in Gears of War. Well, you're just going to have an Xbox controller in your pocket. It's not practical. And that's why even that Android gaming stuff really didn't kick off. So I think Microsoft focusing on this cloud streaming to a cell phone, no, that doesn't work, because it's out there already. Android phones and emulators and all that, it's all out there already. And it really, they're a touch screen. This is Microsoft's fault this whole generation. Is they're clumping gamers into like how your mom, like I said before, how your mom called everything a Nintendo when you're playing your Sega Saturn and your Dream, and even when you're playing your Dreamcast. And so, how's the Nintendo? Oh, I got your Nintendo game. Here's Nintendo. It's like, no, I'm on PlayStation. What are you talking about, Nintendo? And I just think that Microsoft, And it just shows the naivete of Satya, and it's his fault, I feel, is that he thinks a gamer is a gamer. Just like how they say, well, a PC gamer, they want to play on their Xbox and they want to play on their PC. No, they don't. Because if they did, I don't even think consoles would even be that popular. A PC gamer is a PC gamer. Like I said, I'm not a PC gamer. I play Xbox games on the PC because they're offering them there, and I could play them at higher fidelity, and I could also and I could also not have to pay for their service and play online and chat with everybody. Like, if it's free, it's for me. I said that before. You know, if you're going to give me something for free, why am I going to pay for it? You know? Because I have that money now to buy other things. Like, you know, $60 for Xbox Live. Why I got to pay for it when I could do everything on my phone and on my computer and not pay $60? I could buy another. That's a game. I could buy another game. So that's the problem I have. That's right, man. That's why I just don't understand it. I feel like I'm shouting dog. I appreciate all you guys coming out and, you know, supporting, because like it really hurts. Like, it really hurts. And I understand people like, well, you just don't like change. They don't care anymore and all that stuff. And it's just like I understand if they want to focus on PC, but the problem they have, and I'll get back to what I'm saying about they take the gamer and they're saying, oh, how's games doing? The guy who plays on the cell phone is not the same guy that sits and puts hours in on a console, and is not the same guy that sits there and plays World of Warcraft with his friends on the PC. You know? It's like, oh, everybody likes Mexican food. Well, then everybody should love Chipotle. No, just because it's a Mexican thing doesn't mean you like like you might like authentic Mexican, or like, you know, or do you want Taco Bell? Like, is Taco Bell Mexican? Like, you can't lump everybody into a group, especially when there's different input devices. And that is the biggest fault of Microsoft right now. They're a big ass company, and they think that a mobile, a PC, and an Xbox all going to play together. But all three of them use different input devices, which is a trained method of doing a controller. I tell you, if I play on a cell phone with a touchscreen, I'm fucking like, like, go play like a dual stick shooter with your cell phone. But then give me a controller and I'm all over them. I'm boom, inverted. And I'll tell you just to that. Control, I play inverted. But if you play you play with a mouse, or you play with a touchscreen, you're not playing inverted. Because it doesn't make sense. You're not going to go down and go up unless you're playing a flying game or something like that. But for the stick, I feel like there's a stick in the back of the guy's head, and I pull back, and that's how I play inverted. There's different control mechanisms for the three different people. So for you saying I'm making a game, you can't just say, well, that game's going to work everywhere. Well, is it a touchscreen game? Yeah, you could put like buttons on a screen and say, oh, well, now my game works with a phone. But that's not ideal. It might work there, but that's not where it's made for. Oh yeah, my just like you say, like, this game can play with a controller. Yeah, you can map a keyboard to your controller buttons, but that doesn't mean that that's ideal, and that doesn't mean it satisfies that gamer. Just look at the top games on PC and then your top games on console. Call of Duty is not the number one played game on PC. Come on, it's all the PUBGs, it's all the experimental games, it's all like Left 4 Dead is mod, and there's all mods and stuff. It's a different type of person. So when Phil goes like that, well, you know, the guy who was playing on his console is then going to go jump on his PC and wants to play on his rig, and then then his mom calls him up and he's going to grab his phone and he's going to go play that same game on his phone. Yeah, I don't know what you're smoking. That's nice that a movie going with you is one thing. I could watch the movie on my big TV. I could watch it on my phone. That's fine. But there's no different input device. But if you're telling somebody who's trained to play with a controller and now they're playing with a touchscreen, or somebody who uses a controller and is playing against people with a keyboard, they're all different people. And that's where Microsoft's messaging is just failing. And that's the most frustrating part, because you got your Xbox, you got your PlayStation, and your Nintendo focusing on controllers, the Switch controllers. And Microsoft's here, oh, well, we want mobile, we want keyboards, we want... Again, jack of all trades, master of none. And the Scarlet Cloud is going to be something, and I'll probably go on to that about the input devices, another rant. I just tacked that on here because I was just thinking about it. But this cloud thing where you could play everywhere, it exists already. And, I don't think it's going to be... I think it's going to be interesting, but it's all about the content. The content drives the services, and what grinds my gears is the fact that, again, we're talking more about hardware and services instead of games. And E3 has passed. When are they going to show Crackdown 3? When? At the Game Awards show? Like, when are they going to show it, man? It's done. And they're profitable. Exactly. Bow's moves. Yeah, I know. Xbox is profitable, but you want them to make great games. I know. And they're mediocre. And Crackdown sounds like it's just going to be added to that mediocrity, too, which is unfortunate. And it's like, and you got to wonder. You got to say, like, hey, are we not getting the sequels to those games like we mentioned earlier about Quantum Break and Sunset and Rise and new IPs getting a like, come on. You make expansions to those IPs so that we could play them. And we get excited about the next iteration of them. Rather than give us 5s and 7s of Gears and Halos, you could be building up new franchises. And they haven't done that this generation at all. They haven't built up any franchises. So therefore, next generation, what franchises are you excited about? And don't tell me, oh, well, they got 5 studios. Well, guess what? They're starting from the ground up, those guys. And those 5 studios are going to have to make something that's worth a damn. Unless they're making Hellblade 2, Ninja Theory is going to have to start a brand new. And we saw them make Enslaved. Enslaved was a great game. I played a few hours of it. But that game didn't light fires. Okay? So if Ninja Theory is going to make a brand new game, first party game, same thing with Hellblade though. Hellblade is a very good game, but it is not something that is like on the level of a Halo or even God of War. It's not that level. It is a great game, or even a Rocket League. It's a good game. It's a great game. It's an amazing game. Everybody should play it, but they're not breaking walls down with that game. So to say like, oh, Ninja Theory, they're not going to make like Uncharted. And if they do, we're going to have to wait and see. Like, look what they did with God of War. That was God of War 4. Like, it took them years to make that stuff like that. You can't, hey, what's up, Frogs? How you doing, man? And Prince, what's up? Prince Raw. It takes years to make those kind of games. So like these studios, we don't know what kind of games they're gonna make. And I think Booty said another interview where they're looking at more double A and double A developers to make games come out more frequently because they got to support the service. So they got to make games come out more frequently. But they just like the thing is that their games just, we don't know what they're gonna make. But they're starting from ground zero. Same thing with Playground Games. Like, Lionhead was the heart and soul of Fable. And say what you want, what they did with the game, but that was Peter Molyneux's baby. Now you got Playground Games, people who make racing games, gonna make an open world. I don't think it's an MMO, but like an adventure game. They can make racing games, and yeah, I understand you get development for, oh yeah, we got the guy who made Witcher, and okay, fine. But the studio is making the game. Okay, you can get a guy, but he has to lead that studio to make his vision. I'm just talking about Playground Games themselves don't have a track record for making a fantasy open world game with mission structure and story and deep and decision trees and all that other stuff. Look at the guys at Project Red, the guys who made The Witcher. Like, come on, The Witcher 3 was a gem, but like, Witcher 1 and 2, they were a little struggle. They were great games, but they weren't the hits that 3 was. It takes time. You think the Playground Games is going to drop the most amazing open world kind of thing? Even Guerrilla, they were making games. Like this whole ragtag group, that Playground, they just built the studio up. Yeah, right. Yeah, they're going to have Fable. They're going to have horse racing. Like they make racing games. All right. That's like Polyphony Digital going, oh, yeah, we're going to create some ragtag group of people, hire a big studio and say, okay, we're going to make an adventure game. It's like, well, good luck. So we don't know the types of games that are coming out of them. They might put Fable on it, but that game might not be Fable. Like it might not look like Fable or be what Fable was. I don't know. But we don't even know. And they even tell us, which tells me these games are so far off. And Microsoft, again, I think is going to be releasing hardware, maybe with Gears of War. And we're going to wait on Halo. I don't know. But like, I just think that this cloud stuff, and then I don't even know what types of games they are. And like I said, this whole reaching everybody has a lot of problems. It sounds great on paper and sounds probably great to executives like, yeah, man, we got all those gamers everywhere. But in reality, gamers are very passionate people and gamers like what they like and they have different control methods. So, the dude that plays on his cell phone in front of the TV is not the guy that's going to sit back on the controller and get, all crazy in some other game. Like that's going to be like playing Call of Duty hardcore. The guy that plays Modern Combat on his cell phone is not playing Call of Duty Prestige 7. And I think that's Microsoft's problem. They're grouping gamers into this one thing. That's how we're going to reach everybody. The guy, we're going to stream it to him on his PC, on his console, and then he's going to stream it to his phone, and he's still going to be playing that game. It's like, And then what they're going to do is they're going to put service-based, and they're going to make their games into services. And now our games that made services. Sony's making service games. Everybody's making service games. It's just and I said this last week, and a lot of people agreed with me. There needs to be a balance. There needs to be a balance. If Microsoft's doing services and Ubisoft is making service-based games and EA is doing their service-based with Anthem and, and Rockstar's doing their service-based with the Red Dead, and Microsoft's doing service games with everyone that comes out of them is an Halo Infinity service. It's just too many services. And then you're paying for the service to play those games on the service, and they're service structured, so they're trickling stuff out. And then Sony's here saying, we're just making narrative-driven games that maybe have some multiplayer in them. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're just story games. And we're just going to pump out things. We're going to pump out games like Horizon with open world games. We're going to come out with Dreams. And, we're going to make this Ghost of Tsushima game. And we're going to make these amazing story narrative-driven games that look amazing. And then Nintendo's like, we're going to give you Metroid. We're going to give you Smash Brothers. We're going to give you this. And then Ubisoft and EA and all those other guys, they're doing this service stuff. But Sony and Nintendo are offering unique, exclusive content that's different than what third parties doing. Now you got a balance. But if Microsoft is just trying to jump in bed with everybody else that's doing the service stuff, you're going to get serviced out. And you're not going to get committed, and your friends and like, hey man, I signed up for the Destiny service. I'm not signing up for that Halo service. It's like, but meanwhile, you could be like, hey, I signed up for the Destiny. Hey, man, that God of War 5, you could just pick that up and you could play it. Oh, I don't have to sign up for anything? Nah, man, you just pick it up and play it. Oh, really? Okay. Somebody be more willing to do that. So there needs to be a balance, and Microsoft needs to see that. And every time they talk about single player, they kind of like, oh, yeah, we like doing it too. But, you got to think about longevity of a game for 2 and 3 years. And it's like, and that doesn't sound like a company that's pumping out games when they're trying to milk 3 years out of a game. It doesn't look like they're going to be coming out with games every 2 or 3 years if they want to try to make one game go for 3 with service structures. And then with this cloud stuff, they're going heavy into this cloud. That's all subscription stuff. There's nothing natively on your computer. You're not going to download a game and play it. It's all going to be streaming from the service. Now, yeah, they'll maybe give you single-player games, but, we'll see where it goes. Again, I went long this time. They just don't have the balance. And now, and not even the lack of balance right now. They don't even have the games to even balance it out. They're balancing out with third party, and they're saying that there's higher resolutions, which, Sony never backed up and never stopped making games and was like, yo, man, we're just going to say our games run at 1080p and Microsoft runs about 900p. We got this Gen 1. But Microsoft seems to be doing that. They think that, it's just enough to be like, oh, well, this game runs at 2K enhanced, 2K with dynamic resolution. Sony runs it at 1440p or some bullshit, and we're good like that. And it's like, no, man. They were investing in games. They were investing in, and Sony knows that. Why the hell do you think they turned their E3 into a friggin' movie show? That's why they're building, because they know that they have something that nobody else has. They got that IP that could captivate, that could get people in their stories, in their world. That's what they know that. That's why they're doubling down on all this stuff. They became like a kind of a movie studio, and the fact that they're giving these exclusive things. Spider-Man looks absolutely amazing. And this is not just family. It is just like, I wish that Xbox had this now. I wish that Xbox had a... Remember, I think before E3, people were saying that Superman was going to be on Xbox. All the bullshit. It's just like... I just don't understand. I understand people, and you see it all over Twitter and all stuff. And I'm not saying people don't have fans. Like, when you're a fan, you're a fan. And I'm going to leave this as this. The reason why I go on these things and I rant and maybe get a little heat on playing Xbox and stuff like that is just like, when you just think of a football team, right? Your football teams, you follow football. When your team loses and your local team loses, go listen to their radio sports station right after the loss. They are pointing blame. They are saying the team sucks. Now, if they lose a second time, a third time, you would think the people on there were from the other team, criticizing them, yelling at them. Right? I'm New Jersey, right? The Giants and the Eagles, right? Years of hearing how the Eagles sucked with Chip Kelly destroying. I would as a Giants fan, I would tune in because it was so entertaining. I loved it when the Eagles lose. I would go to a radio station. I would listen to all the Eagles fans shit on the Eagles. But and then you listen when the Giants lose, you listen to them and you go, damn right, that's bullshit they lost. They took that guy out of the game. Why did they lose? You're not calling those people not fans of the team. That is a passionate group of people that want their team to do better. So when I sit here and talk about Xbox and talk about this stuff, this is the reason why I speak how I speak. And I feel that if people really are Xbox fans, and you have 96,000 gamer score, and you go on there and you played for 13 years and 12 years, and you should not agree with this way that they're going and the lack of games that we're getting. This is not the system I signed up for, and this is not the system that I want in the future. They have lost me. They are gone. They are gone. Unless he pulls the curtain away next year and goes, that's all bullshit, guys. Woo, we're done. All right, well, Xbox One was a piece of shit. The Xbox X2, we're back. All these games, day one, on Xbox, made for the console. They'll come to PC sooner than later, but not day one. We got to go right to the Xbox fans. We want to make the console the premier place to play, and that's where you're going to play it. PC, it's coming to you guys, but not day and date. We're going to give the Xbox fan, the console owners, the paid subscribers, they're going to get it for timed exclusive for a month or two. We're making these games console first. Screw the PC stuff. You'll get it later, but we're going back to our core. That is the thing. unless he does that. But they don't doing that. They're talking about kumbaya. They want to be everybody. They want to be a Trojan horse. And yeah, the Savage Yoga, I agree. You know, one of the things about being a fan is your hopes are higher, and you know, and you don't want, and you know, and you get disappointed even more. I totally agree. Like you have more anticipation. Like, you know, like exactly. You know, think about like a football game and your team's in the championship game. You're like nervous to watch it. Like you're like you feel like oh my god, like, you know, you're not like excited like unless you're drinking before the game. When you're like your team's there, you're anticipating. Your palms are sweaty. Like, oh my god, this is an elimination game. Oh my god, how are they gonna play? What is the first pass gonna be? And you can imagine me being a Giants fan and with freaking Eli Manning. I'm like, holy shit, is he gonna give me that dumbass face when he throws interceptions, or is he gonna be like getting pulled down and throwing the ball for a touchdown in the end zone? Oh, who's gonna show up today? Which one? And you get the nerves and built up, right? Because you're a fan. Now, when they fail, you're like, oh my God, you did this wrong. You did this wrong. Do better. And you know, they don't like when the team loses. I rarely hear people go on a radio station network and be like, no, man, they'll do better. You know, that was all right. Yeah, maybe one game loss. Well, when you get 2 and 3 and 4, and you're not doing too hot, you got some 68s on Metacritic of the 2 games that everybody's been waiting for that were delayed. Your Crackdown 3 is looking like trash. You go tune into that Xbox Sports Radio. People should not be going, no, man, they're good. Woo! We got digital returns. I would swerve my fucking car off the road if I had an Xbox station radio and we got some of the shit that some people are saying when Xbox is doing bad. No, man, we got digital returns. But they got fucking, the games are coming out mediocre. Nah, man. He retweeted my tweet. What? So if you were like, no, he's my friend. He retweeted me. What? Are you playing retweets? Like, come on. And the thing is that if you are friends with them and you talk to them, I don't see that in the public message boards unless you're having wine and tea with them on the back end going, yeah, Xbox is not really where it should be right now. You basically slap people in the face at E3. You said we had studios, we got games. Oh, but we're putting these games on exclusive PC and stuff like that, and Xbox don't get games. How do you come to Xbox console thing, people wearing their fucking jerseys, Xbox jerseys, and announce games not coming to that platform? I don't understand it. I don't give a shit if they're good and bad games. Everybody should play them, right, Phil? It's all about options. Everybody should play. So why is Gears Tactics on PC? And people are like, well, why you keep talking about that game? Because it's a counter to everything that they've been talking about. It's like everybody should play games, but not the Xbox console. I don't give a shit if it's a good game, bad game. If I want it, don't want it. I look at the big picture. I look at the mentality of Xbox and Microsoft. And their mentality is the Xbox gamer is the fool. They will eat any carrot that we throw out there. They're loyal to us, so we could just do whatever we want. Let's go poke our dicks around everywhere else. And that's what they're doing. And you're sitting there like a lemming, like gullible, going, yes, please, may I have another? And they're not giving us anything. They're not throwing any bones. But he says, we got studios, shut the fuck up, I'm out of here. And now what? That's supposed to pacify a console gamer for the next 2 years? No way. No fucking way. Somebody got to be like, no, but what the fuck? Like, first off, why are we in the state that we're in? Because if your team or whoever you're working for, and again, I said, don't give me this Terry Myerson bullshit, okay? Don't give me the bullshit. Terry Myerson worked for Satya, and Satya is still fucking around. And Phil reports to Satya, all right? But how the hell did you get this console as is? Sony came out with the Pro, with VR, and a Slim, and still we got God of War coming out. And we still got Spider-Man. And you still got games coming out. They didn't just shut down everything. Go, guys, put God of War on the table. We got a Pro coming out. PS4 Pro. I got to do hardware first. Hardware first. The Pro. Back up. God of War. No, we're not working on God of War anymore. We got to get the Pro out. Who the hell does that? Phil walked in. They go, oh, the S. Oh, no, man. We're working on the X and the S. Don't make anything. 343, you're named after fucking Halo. Don't make Halo. I was like, huh? The fact that we're in the state that we're in now tells me that Xbox is expendable. Everything that they talk about tells me that they see a future without that console. That console is a PC, TV PC option, a Steam box to them. It is no more the main thing for development. And if they're not focusing on that for development and they want to develop games on PC and port them over to console, nobody else will. And you will be getting your PlayStation ports, you get all those ports. Yeah, Compulsion Games made by two games, and both are mediocre. That's what I mean. These studios that they bought, they're not no fucking Naughty Dogs, or even like they're not no Naughty Dogs, or bringing the guys that make The Witcher, like those guys. Like they're not. They're like Golf Clap. And the only one that's really worth the damn is the one that made Heaven, Hellblade, Ninja Theory. But again, Ninja Theory made Kung Fu Chaos. That was their Xbox exclusive game back in the day. That game was cool, but that was almost like a Power Stone type game. They made Kung Fu Chaos, and then they made PlayStation games with Heavenly Sword, and then Enslaved was a multiplat. And those games didn't light up anything. And Hellblade was really cool. Like, I thought Hellblade was amazing. But it's just like, yeah, you're totally. Savage Yoga, totally right. 2014, games will be first, right? He talked about reviving franchises. That's when we saw Rare Replay and all these games. And again, like, it just stopped. He just stopped. Like I said, Killer Instinct. I was saying it earlier. Killer Instinct. What happened to it? It was a 3-season trick? Like, I don't know what happened to it. Not even Killer Instinct 2. But why are people not tweeting about that or asking about that? And no, I'm not saying that they made bad games. Heavenly Sword was like, it looked amazing. Like, I didn't have a PlayStation. I have it on now, but I never played Heavenly Sword. But I'm just saying, those games weren't like the levels of like these people like, oh, they bought 5 studios. So what? They're going to make 5 blockbuster games like Gears or Halo level games? No, they're going to probably make good games. But I don't know what they're going to make. And I agree. Bounce Moves, you said the best. As the highlight comment, games haven't been first since Phil took over. Yeah. He talked the talk, man. But when I don't give a, and again, I don't care who his boss was. I don't care what he had for lunch. I don't care who he tweeted, who he's in direct messages with. I don't care. All I know is you go look at the Xbox store, you go to your Best Buys, your GameStops, and look at that shelf and go pick out the games that are made for Xbox. And you're lucky you got a stack of 10. And that's 5-6 years in. That's pathetic. And the problem is that they don't have games right now that should be getting people excited for their sequels next gen. We don't even know what games they are coming right now, except Gears and Halo and Forza. Yay. The same shit. And Halo's going in a different direction. Gears 5 is going in a different direction with Kate's story. Halo Infinite's going in its own Master Chief Saga, bigger, better, new engine. Who the hell knows where that's going? There's a lot of uncertainty. A lot. And while we sit here and talk about uncertainty, we're sitting here with no games. And Crackdown, that's the only thing that we see, and we hear how horrible that is. Exactly. Emily, and I said that before. I was saying that. Like, Microsoft, we don't know. They might make a cell phone game. Exactly. Look what they did with Rare. Yeah, Emily, yeah, if you go listen to my previous shows, like, I don't know which one. It was 22 or whatever like that. I said the same, like, I think it was the 21 or something. I was talking about the studios. And the reason why, and people go, well, why you say that? The reason why I say that is because look, like people thought that Forza Kart game was, oh, I don't want Forza Kart. Everybody thought the games that they heard rumors about were going to come on Xbox, and what a slap in the face is that they didn't. And then I know when they didn't, people were like, oh, well, that game's trash. I don't want it on Xbox anyway. But the fact is that the games didn't. They teased Halo news at Inside Xbox, and it was Halo at Dave & Buster's. Didn't even come on Xbox. Inside Xbox, Halo at Dave & Buster's. Wait a second. Inside Xbox, Inside Arcade Machine, Dave & Buster's. Wait a second. Why do we want Inside Xbox? Xbox is Dave & Buster's now? And then it's like, oh, they're coming out with a Forza Kart game. Oh, a Forza Kart game. That's cool. You know, maybe they'll put some IP in there and Banjo and stuff like that. No, it's a Miami Racing for Windows 10 store. Oh, Gears is coming out with a bunch of games. 2 of them are not even coming to the console. So then you tell me you bought 5 studios. Who the hell knows what those guys are going to make? Who knows, man? I don't know. They might make a cell phone game. They might go launch streaming game. Maybe a little game to whet their appetite to see what they can do. Yeah, and Microsoft, Savage says the same thing. Savage Yoga says AA character-driven games, AAA single-player games. They cost too much money. That God of War that you saw is a rare breed because from Microsoft's narrative, it doesn't sound like they want to invest that much money into a single player game that you play and that's it. They want to make sure that game had legs. Like they want that game to last 2 and 3 years. And the only way you do that is either you add extra content to it or you hold out content and trickle it in Sea of Thieves style. But as you see with the reviews, people are going to evaluate the game on its launch. They're not coming back. And we don't know. I think Ninja Theory is going to make a single player game. I think they're going to make like along a Hellblade type game. They might make a cool single player game. I think something along the lines of like a Hellblade structure. Maybe not Hellblade 2, which I think would be smart to make Hellblade 2, but they probably can't. That would be awesome to do Hellblade 2 because the franchise is there, a bigger audience. I think Hellblade 2 will be a green light in my book. If I was Microsoft, I'll say you make Hellblade 2. We want it bigger, better, and just keep at it. Maybe make a co-op or something like that, and intervene the schizophrenia with it or to do something with it. But let's do something crazy. Like, let's do something amazing, or like make a co-op. And this is me just thinking, like, make a co-op game and make it where like the voice, like if you're trying to like almost like think like Brothers, like you have puzzles, right? This is my version of Hellblade 2. You got puzzles, like the puzzles. And they do something where the chat, so when you're chatting with your co-op partner, the chat sounds like how it is in Hellblade, where it's like sort of like where she keeps hearing voices and she has to decipher either if it's coming from you as the co-op partner or from the AI. So like the AI is basically going, you'll say, hey, turn the dial to the right. And then they'll be like, and when you say it, it basically tells the other player, like, turn the dial to the right. Don't listen to that. Turn the dial to the left, to the right. No. And then it uses kind of your instruction. How crazy would that be? Like, this is me just thinking, I'm not a game developer, but that would be crazy. That would be a way to take Hellblade to the next level where you take your co-op partner and their communication basically gets intertwined with the psychosis of her, where it's taking your instruction, or you can't speak. You got to use like prompts, and the prompts that you send to the first player would interfere with AI countering those prompts, and then the person has to decide, do I listen to this one or which one's coming from my co-op partner? That would be cool as hell. And you don't make voice. You communicate all through prompts. Like you communicate all through button responses. Like you basically, RB would say like go to left. And then RB would say go right. LB would say go left. Then you hit it and your partner is basically, or you could just stream. That'll be an amazing streaming game now. I'm not even thinking about 2 people. Imagine if somebody's playing the game and you have somebody watching them play, and you basically have to tell her the instructions. You have the codes, and when you're sending it to them, and this is me just brainstorming right now, not a game developer, but that's what I'm talking about, taking game to the next level. That's your sequel of Hellblade. You know, like you use like the social aspect of people sending messages, and then like you as the player, you have to deal with the psychosis of like, you know, is it real? Who's the one that's telling me a lie? Who's telling me the truth? Who's trying to kill me? Who's trying to lead me through the level? Mixer stream, book it, done. You know what I mean? Like, come on, like, yo, just some random dude on the internet just gave you the Hellblade. Like, that would be freaking interesting. It works with the streaming model, but that's what I'm looking for from them. Yeah, mixer integration, like that's what I'm looking for. Like, I don't, and then therefore I won't say like mixer integration, like, oh, that's them just doing their services. But you want to know what? Something like that, that's worth a damn. That's fucking cool. That's like, damn. So wait, I could like, so you can have people like team try to kill her and team try to get her through the map. And people will be sending messages. And as the player, they got to make a decision. And it's all kind of in their ear going like, well, who do I listen to? Just like the game. But instead of that being like prompts, it's people telling them that. And you don't know which one to listen to. Who should I listen to? It's incredible. Like, now you say like, oh my God, now that's what you do with Mixer. Like that's now I give it, now your service is worth it to them. Now I'll subscribe to Mixer. Now I'll be a Mixer person. That's what I mean. The game mechanism, the game, if it's good and it does that stuff, the services just roll into that. You know what I mean? The services would just roll into that stuff. And that's my essence of this whole thing, is that you got to have that content. See, I won't sit here and rant about Mixer integration if that's what you're going to do with Mixer and that's how you're going to make a sequel to Hellblade or something like that. You know what? That's amazing. Sign me up. Where's my console? Or where's my PC? Wherever I could play it, I don't care. But now we're talking about that. But if you're just like, well, we're adding a Mixer mode because, you know, this game and the game is not like, just look at Evolve. How Evolve was presented as a esports game. And people like Five Guys versus the thing, and people, and they had shoutcasters and stuff like that. People turned off immediately because I'm like, wait, why is this game being presented as an esports game? Let it turn. If it's a good game, esports will pick it up. But don't send it to me. Don't sell it to me as an esports game when we never played it yet. And that's where you see like, oh, well, this game, and all those games fail. All those games fail. Same thing with that other game, Darwin Project. I didn't play it, so I'm not going to knock it, but that game was presented as a streaming game. Like, oh, well, the architect person could send stuff in. It's going free to play. Not saying that's a fail or whatever it is, but, you know, is the game built for that? Or is that just was put in there because somebody's like, we got to have some mixer option in here? Like, if that's your vision, then that's your vision. But if you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, people are going to see through that bullshit. They're going to see through that. And they're not going to buy, like, they're not going to go on it, you know? So the thing is that that's really where I'm coming at, is like, you got to have, and this old big skull cloud, I went all over the place, as I always do with these things. So, you know, I got to get, what's his name? Master Chief or whatever on here to give me time points to like where I talk about different things. But I appreciate you all coming out. I'm just, you know, it just comes back to the whole cloud. And it's just that the content needs to drive the services. And I feel like Microsoft seems very bolstering these services, and very, you know, they don't seem to be holding back and talking about services and hardware. And, you know, they're not holding that close to their chest. And they're really like, oh, we're 2 billion gamers and reach another console, and we're going to do streaming. And it seems like they know kind of where their hardware and services are going, but they have no clue to their games. Their games miss the mark. They get poor reviews. And the reason why I bring up those reviews is like, I know everybody has bad games, but those 2 games particularly were reviewed low because of developmental issues, whereas one did not have content and the other was a buggy mess. So And then you take those items and then you see all them talking about is hardware and services, and you go, but wait, and your games are lacking. So where is the priority of your games? And the fact that you're buying studios now, where was that message 2 years ago when you said you had 30 million consoles out there and you're like, they got nothing to play? Where was that conversation? You just said, fuck them. They'll wait. They'll wait for the next Halo. But we're having that conversation now. So 2-3 years ago, nobody gave a shit about us as console gamers. Now they're like, oh yeah, we care about you. And now it's like, but we're going to put games everywhere. So, well, I want to say I see Prince and Miles and Lee, the exclusive Japanese titles. I have to say, and I understand. And Prince, you're right, bringing the hardcore back at fan space. But you know what? That exclusive Japanese title thing, that was something that really was. And this is all I'll leave on this one. Like, we're having Blue Dragon and Evan Lost Odyssey. It was a commitment to the platform, and then getting Final Fantasy. That was big. Final Fantasy 15. It wasn't exclusive though. But the fact that they had Japanese development make something for their console was a testament to for them to do. Now, well, it didn't, set the world on fire. Again, it gave them balance. It's something that they're totally lacking now. Right now, they're just going, they're riding the third-party wave in last place, which is kind of like, it's just like a Me Too console right now. They're not giving anything of substance. And right now, they should be building their IPs, and they should be giving people things. Yeah, why Titanfall 2 just went their install base is slow now, but what they need to do is focus on the core, because that's what Sony did. They focused on their games. They still made core games. Even though Microsoft was doing Connect and entertainment, Microsoft kept their eye off the ball. Instead of Microsoft making better sequels, they came out with Gears Judgment. They came out with, they really didn't. And they came with focus more on Connect and all that other stuff. And they kept their eye off the prize, the console gamer, the people that stuck around, that got 3 Red Rings of Death and bought another console while they waited for their other one to fix. Me. I shipped that thing out and said, wait, what, a week? I went out and bought another Xbox to play it while my other one was getting fixed. So those people, instead, they went with Connect and entertainment. They took their eye off the prize, and Sony ended their PlayStation 3 strong. Their first games, they came with Last of Us. They let them experiment with Last of Us. They came in with the hell, like whatever you might say, but they kept doing their kill zones, and Sony kept it games. And then they came out with the fall was clear. We're about games. Here's some amazing looking games. We got some indie games that are only here. We got exclusive content. We got the Call of Duty deals, and they made it appealing to gamers. And Microsoft was talking entertainment and TV, and now instead of talking about games, they're trying to. Now they know that they failed by talking about entertainment and TV, but now it's like services and hardware is just replacing TV and entertainment. But we're not talking. It's still not about games. They should be we are 6 years in. 6 years in. 6, 7, what was it, 5 years in? 5 years. We are in it. They should be throwing blow by blow. Sony should be showing God of War. Microsoft should be smashing us with Halo 6. Amazing looking game. Halo 6. Continue. Finish the fight. The second set of trilogy. It's coming now. 4, 5, 6. Finish the fight. Master Chief. God of War comes out. We should be just drenched. And then they'd be like, and Spider-Man and Sony and Microsoft will be like, oh shit, and here's our Superman exclusive game. We signed a deal with Rocksteady, and they're making ours is exclusive for the holiday and so on. They should be throwing blows back and forth. That's where we should be right now. Just like when Metal Gear was coming out and they had Halo 3 and Metal Gear 4. And we're like, holy shit, Metal Gear, Halo, Master Chief, they're going to hit this holiday. Oh my God, like this. And then they're throwing, and here's this game. And there's Gears versus the launch of What they had? They had Gears of War 3 was launching against Killzone. I don't know. Like, we should be getting the creme of the little creme of these consoles right now, fighting back and forth. And right now, Sony is just sitting there with like, boom, here's all our amazing games. And Microsoft's sitting there going, yeah, we're making something. We can't tell you. Oh, but we got services. We got things you can subscribe to. And we got some hardware you can buy for another $500 coming. And we got somewhere we just sold last year at November for $500 you can buy. And we still got that 1 terabyte S sitting there that plays games at the worst resolution of both the PlayStation family and the Xbox family. And it's like, huh? We should be getting games versus games right now. And that's what I'll do. Microsoft will be building games to make next gen worth a damn. And the S, and that's the thing. Now their slogan is the Xbox is the best place to play. No, the Xbox One X is the best place to play. The S is still the worst place to play. And then if you want to run a Switch for whatever third party you get there, but you can't even say that because Switch you could go play while you're taking a shit. So that's a benefit of that thing. And so you could say the toilet bowl is the best place to play for the Switch. But it's still, to finish up this Skull Cloud talk and a rant and grind my gears. I mean, again, I went over 2 hours. I didn't want to do this. This is like crazy, but I appreciate the chat, man. You guys rock. Even my boy Kembo Williams, Bowles Moves, I love. You disagree. You know what? Everybody has their opinion, and then this is mine. And I grind my gears. Savage Yoga, Jemiah, Dixon. Let's see. We got all you guys in here. Frogs came out here. We got all you guys. I appreciate Meds Kama. He's still around. Emily, don't call me Danny. He jumped on, but I want to thank you, so much, guys, for coming out again. I hit like 12 watching, 11 watching. I appreciate the support. Share the video, like it, and comment in the section. I'll try to respond to your comments. And then, just share it out. Follow me over at Jez7780 over on Twitter. And, follow my YouTube channel. I'll do some streaming. I stream a lot from the PlayStation because it's easy to do it to YouTube. But, I'm trying to use the OBS on the PC and doing that. When I stream, I was trying to do some Fortnite with the guys on PC, doing some of the crossplay stuff. But, you know what? This is just my opinion. Now, people don't agree with it. They don't agree with it, but it is what it is. And as a passionate Xbox gamer, I just can't, they've disappointed me greatly. And, it is what it is. And, I really want to see them turn it around. I want to see some great games. And this content drives the services. Anything, man. Anything that you have, any game, any service you have, subscription service, Amazon, YouTube Red, Hulu, Netflix, everybody got content that makes you want to subscribe. So, and Microsoft has to start showing the content and stop making this like, oh, we're ahead in cloud and we're ahead in hardware. Here's more hardware. It's like, dude, man. The content drives the games, and the content drives the services. And I'll leave it as that. And again, this has been what grinds my gears. I appreciate everybody coming out, and thank you again for the engagement. You guys kept me going for what I wanted to do. But I'll talk to you guys soon, and I'm out. Thanks again.